I was lucky enough to be raised by very strong women. And when I say raised by women, I'm lucky in that I met my great-grandmother, my maternal great-grandmother, and both my grandparents. I come from a society that is matrilineal, and so women play a very important role in raising children, the upkeep of the family, and so on and so forth. I never thought about it growing up, but as I got older and began to understand the ways of the world a little bit more, I began to see why these women who came before me had taken the positions that they had taken, insisting that you get an education, insisting that you make your voice heard. There is nothing in my history, in my education, that has taught me that anyone can speak better or better represent women than women themselves. So if we are looking to create this world that puts into consideration the needs of women and girls, we need to be able to have women take part in the civic space. Would I describe myself as a convener of women? Interestingly, until 2 years ago, no. But today, absolutely yes. It's a huge part of the work that I do now. I definitely would describe myself as a convener of women, because within my community and beyond it, I work to bring women together in a rural and remote setting. You have women who look to, aspire to be what they see in women in the urban settings. And yet they do not have the education, they don't have the resources to do that. If we can create a linkage between rural and urban women, and the beauty with bridges is that they go both ways. What happens is you create opportunities for rural women to acquire a skill, knowledge, expertise that they ordinarily would not have access to. And yet in the urban settings, we have women who are looking to share what they have learned, to share their skills and expertise in very relevant and meaningful ways. You want to be able to make use of that so that you can address the issues that women face wherever it is they may be. And for me, I think my experience has taught that there's really no woman who's urban that doesn't have a rural a footing or a rural background. At some point, we all come from some village, some hamlet, and we want to be able to find our roots in that space. Not only find our roots in that space, but find ways of bringing all of the good stuff that we have acquired with our education and urban experience into the rural setting. We don't all have to move into urban areas, but we can make a difference wherever it is we are. When women say to me, Mbao, why you? What gives you the right, the authority to speak for us? I do remember the emotion behind the moment. Anger, frustration, sadness, hurt, because I thought I had invested so much into working with these women in my community. And yet, for some reason, I was not believed, almost as if you are a fraud. Where do you come from? You don't even talk like us. You look like us, but you do not talk like that. So it was in those very early moments, I think the first three to 6 months, where, and they had a right to do that, question me, because I had been away for so long. And then I came back and said, I want to do this with you. So they were absolutely right to question me, but I do remember it just wanting to walk away. Why bother? I can go back to the US and live my life there. You can figure this out by yourself. But I think that happened initially because starting off, I didn't exactly put the needs of these women, these rural women, into consideration. A part of me felt, with my knowledge, my education, my experience, we should do this. What was important in that moment is that that's when I personally decided we were going to change. We were not going to go off and say, because we want this and we have 200 kwacha in our pocket, you are going to do this. We are going to meet you at your point of need and support you the way you need to be supported, and not because we have this idea and we think you should do it. It became very clear in doing the work that I do now is that the women themselves began to understand that I was not this Western educated woman who came back home to live in the village because I love eating mangoes and love walking barefoot in the rain. I was a part of them. I was not only a part of them, I was a part of them that had the benefit of an experience that they did not have, that I was willing and ready to share with them without question. And in there, that legitimacy came into play. I think I was very lucky in that I had already started doing work in my community in education, that these women, this community could identify. And yes, sure, they did ask that question, but I consider myself lucky and privileged in that the work that we've been doing in this community in the last 2 years with women gave me that legitimacy, and they no longer ask.
Lots of women who are conveners of other women in the civic space are joining WEConvene already. No pressure, no payment, just friendship. If you'd like to join us, send a message on LinkedIn to Utara or I, Julia, just telling us in under 50 words why you are a woman who convenes other women in the civic space. And if you'd rather find out more first, then join one of our sessions, which is on the third Wednesday of every month. Delighted to welcome you.